I'd like to talk about a topic that I think that most queer people on the spectrum go through, and that is their coming out story. I'd like to preface this by saying that I didn't necessarily come out to my family. I'm not in the closet, and it's not as if they anticipated me to be, some raging bull dyke, the bull dyke that I am. I think that, my sister had her speculation that I at least, dabbled my own terms. I think that my family kind of maybe were a little bit surprised, but they also, they don't care. One of my uncles is a literal leather daddy, the other one dabbles, and one of my cousins is trans. That's awesome. My dad's best friend, since he was 8 years old, is gay also. They don't care in that respect. Who cares? So how I say that I didn't come out, what I mean is that I mostly did a calling in. And what that means is that I didn't make a huge announcement. What I did one year was I had invited my partner at the time to come to a holiday gathering. And I figured that if my family didn't like it, we would have the power to leave. And, I introduced her, as if we were in a heteronormative relationship. I said, hey, this is Lauren, this is, and I went down the line of my family members that were there, and they were like, oh, hi, and that was it. When I say that I did a calling in rather than a coming out, I allowed people to come into my life. I allowed them to make decisions on whether they accepted this or not. And if they didn't, I have a very you kiss my ass kind of mentality. If you don't like that I am sex relationship, kiss it. Just kiss it. 'Cause I don't care. I also, for the most part, do not have contact with my family. It's very rare that I do make that connection, and I do bridge that gap, and it isn't because of bigoted ways. It's for other reasons. But I think that people can decide for themselves whether they want to come out or whether they want to call people in. And why I chose to call people in is because I wanted to normalize being gay. I don't think that being gay necessarily warrants an announcement. I don't think that it should be treated any differently than being heteronormative. And that was one of the key factors for me also, was not just being in control of whom I let into my life. It was also simultaneously the way that I view being gay is that it's just as normal as being straight, and I wanted to treat it as such. Another thing is that I'm not close with my family, in that I didn't need to make a big speech, because I don't care how receptive they are about my orientation. Again, I have a very if you don't like it, go. I am not here to pitch myself to people. You either want it or you don't. And I'm okay when people don't want to be around me, don't want to like me, because I understand that everyone that comes into my life isn't going to stay in my life. That's not to say that I shuffle through friends. I have a very tight-knit group of friends. Um, I consider them my ride or dies, and I do allow people to come into my life, and in under the hopes that they are going to be lifelong friends, and sometimes they aren't, and I'm okay with that too. I wouldn't say that I'm a control freak. I would say that I am selective. Someone that I really care about, somebody that I really love, decides that maybe we have a disagreement, and to me it isn't a disagreement that would necessarily deserve them to walk away. I'd very much fight for them to stay in my life and ask what kind of reparations I need to do in order to, one, grow, and two, keep them in my life, and three, show them that I am deserving of their company, their friendship. So I'm not just kind of bye to everyone. I think that there are some people that are worth fighting for, and then there are some that it's just go, just wall. And each person has their way of going about things. Each person has maybe a speech ready to come out, but maybe some people are more afraid to come out because you leave yourself vulnerable when you exit out of your comfort zone. When you leave your comfort zone, that puts other people in control. That puts their judgment, I guess perhaps maybe precedent over your personality. And that can be scary, and it is. Especially for people who care what other people think, and that's normal to care. So I understand why some people would be very much afraid to come out, because it can be scary, and you're kind of in their environment and under their control. So that's another reason why I chose to call people in, is that I didn't want to be in an environment where other people have control over something as important as my sexual orientation. And why I say sexual orientation is important to me, while under the same breath saying that queerness should be the norm, is that my partner is very important to me. It's not necessarily who I have sex with and how we have sex. It's my partner is very important, and there are some aspects of my life that I very jealously guard. I am a pretty guarded person, ironically. I think that if you're afraid to come out, maybe consider calling people in and allowing people into your environment where you have the absolute control and you have the final say in that. You can say, alright, we're gonna leave, or alright, you can just go. Why I chose to take my partner all the way the fuck to Michigan is that we did, if there was some kind of negativity, we did have the power to just say, alright, we're out of here. So if you are afraid to come out, maybe consider calling people in. That's pretty important.